First flight over the Alps, 1910. Jorge Chavez, 1887 to 1910. In 1910, at flying meets in Europe and America, skilled pilots made large incomes and prizes. Most flew for the joy of it. Chavez, an electrical engineer, born in Paris of Peruvian parents, was one. With good income, he was attracted to the flying, and gained his French pilot certificate in February 1910. Chavez's early flying was on a farm and biplane, then switched to a gnome-engined Bleriot monoplane with better performance. In September 1910, he pushed the altitude record to 8,793 feet. Quotes are from the published story First Over the Alps. 1910 Milan Air Meet. An international flying meeting was to be held at Milan in September or October 1910, offering good prize money. When the Milan Aero Club also offered further prize money for a flight over the Simplon Pass from Brig, Switzerland, to Milan, Italy, Chavez promptly entered. No aeroplane had flown across the Alps, and the competition aroused great interest. There was little knowledge of airflows when flying among mountains. The flight over the Simplon Pass was a more difficult feat than Chavez estimated from his ground survey of the route. Flight plan. The road over the Simplon Pass connects Brig on the River Rhone in Switzerland, top, and Domodossola in Italy, bottom. It was built for Napoleon Bonaparte in the early 1800s, and was regarded as a work equal to the making of the great Roman roads. The straight-line distance is 21 miles, by the winding road 42, but it was impossible for an aeroplane to fly the straight-line route which passed over high peaks. It was essential to follow the road through the pass. There, the highest point on the road is 6,590 feet. Its location is easily fixed from the air by the Hospice Napoleon. Mountain peaks. Chavez felt confident, but the road twisted through wild terrain. To its west, the Fletchhorn, 1, Lachenhorn, 2, and Weissnies, 3, raised their peaks above 13,000 feet. Lione, 4, 11,700 feet, lay to the east. To the south, the d'Albione, 5, rose almost to 8,000 feet. What air currents might spill down from these mountains to confront the brash airman who dared to follow the road? Notes: solid black line is railway tunnel built in early 1900s. Dashed black line is Swiss, left. Italy, right, border. A small plateau near the River Rhone served for the aircraft. About Brig, the ground rose steeply from the river. Curving hill summits everywhere rose far above the plateau. This improvised airfield was poor by the standards of the time, but it was usable by skilled pilots. Altitude about 3,000 feet. Over 3 or 4 days, Chavez and 3 other competitors made several attempts, but bad weather meant that none left the Brig area. On one aborted attempt, Chavez climbed his Bleriot to 6,560 feet. His monoplane, with warping wings and none too positive tail control, rose and fell on strong, erratic air waves, and in those days pilots were not strapped in. On the 23rd of September, 1910, Chavez drove to the hospice to see the weather from the highest point of the road through the pass. Fortified by his road reconnaissance, he took off from Brig at 13:30 hours, determined to make the flight. He climbed and then turned southward into the twisting mountain valley that led to the hospice. The constantly winding road below him dived into tunnels, sidled along galleries cut out of the rock, spanned streams and ravines by bridges, one named Napoleon's Bridge. The wild and desolate valley was frowned on by wild, desolate mountains towering far above his trembling wings. Modern Ganta Bridge, second longest in Switzerland, directly ahead, with old Napoleon's Bridge beyond that, I think. His Bleriot rolled and pitched, rose and fell, in the unrelenting air which supported him and mocked him simultaneously. But doggedly he flew on and turned round the swift curve in the gorge, westward toward the hospice. "18 minutes after starting, he passed over the hospice, surmounting the highest point and one of the narrowest and most dangerous parts of the pass, where his monoplane was nearest its ceiling and flying perilously poised on the small speed range between full speed and stall. The Bleriot was still an embryo aeroplane without inherent stability. She had to be continuously controlled, and her small speed range swiftly exposed his slightest error of manipulation. Flying her through the disturbed air demanded of Chavez dexterity, great concentration and muscular effort. Though he sat in a fuselage, the space was cramped. There was no windshield and the draft blew through the fuselage, whose rear portion was unenclosed by fabric. Chavez felt himself severely chilled. The lessened oxygen at height caused further loss of body warmth. Although he now faced the longer reach of the pass, he had no thought of turning back. The road below turned from west again to south. The gorge widened. Monte Leone receded, left-hand side. Fletchhorn approached, right-hand side. His tiny monoplane was dwarfed in the immensity of the landscape. Chavez passed over the huddle of houses of Simplon village with craggy rocks above which glittered the snow-powdered face of Fletchhorn. Then, leaving that mountain and its companions Lacwenhorn and Weissnies behind him, he curved eastward to skirt the southern slopes of Leone before entering the Val di Vedro. Now he was curving right to round the Albione, last of the threatening mountains, before heading due south for Domodossola, end of the Napoleonic road through the Simplon Pass. By cutting across road curves, he reduced the distance to Domodossola from Brig by 7 miles. Yet he had taken 50 minutes to fly 35 miles. Had he enough fuel to reach Milan? He was so cold. In his arms and legs he felt cramp. Domodossola, directly ahead, was a temporary haven where he might stretch his limbs, eat, find fuel to replenish his tank, restore the circulation in his chilled flesh. He decided to land there. He would continue to Milan after a short rest. Chavez shut off his engine to land. Those who watched said he looked in full control. Then came mystery. Chavez lost control near the ground. There seems little doubt he stalled. A wing dropped. The aircraft nosedived, possibly in an incipient spin. Whether he stalled through fault in judgment, the effect of cold or cramp, or some flaw in the aeroplane, is unknown. His Bleriot crashed. It turned turtle on the ground, trapping him in the wreckage. Chavez was badly hurt. Both legs were broken. At first, it was believed he would recover, but he died 4 days later, the 27th of September, 1910, from heart failure caused by shock. No other pilot attempted to fly across the Alps that year. Chavez was first to demonstrate that by aeroplane man could traverse mountains. It was tragic that his life was forfeit to his triumph. Chavez is honored in Peru. A statue to him stands in Lima. He lies in Paris, where he was buried on the 1st of October, 1910, aged 23. His last Paris school has a Chavez monument. After that somber note, enjoy some real-life footage of a 115-year-old Bleriot still flying today. Thanks for watching. Hope you liked.